It's 2016, Pocket Mortys is released. The game is fun, but many find it tedious or just a poor Pokemon clone. However, many people who enjoyed the game wondered, who is the strongest Morty? Searching this on Google will tell you the One True Morty is the strongest. With incredibly high base stats and strong moves, it only makes sense he's considered the strongest Morty in the game, even outclassing some paper Mortys. However, nowadays, the One True Morty is considered nothing but noob bait and outclassed. This is the story of the One True Morty's fall from grace. In campaign, you get Egg Morty as a reward from a quest. He is a useless Morty with only one move, Harden. This is a medium defense buff. The only way for Egg Morty to do damage is to run out of AP and squirm. Egg Morty, like many of you know, turns into the One True Morty at level 20. In campaign, there isn't any metas because of stat seeds. Attack, defense, and speed seeds allow you to infinitely increase stat, which means any Morty is viable in campaign. When multiplayer first dropped, you're able to bring one Morty over from campaign into multiplayer. Many brought the One True Morty. To get the One True Morty in multiplayer, you need to catch 11 eggs to evolve the One True Morty in multiplayer. Many people have been disappointed when realizing leveling the Egg Morty to level 20 does not turn him into the One True Morty. From now on, I will just be referring to the One True Morty as OTM, and I will be calling Mortys by their name without the Morty title. An example is me saying just Egg instead of Egg Morty. The first meta-viable Mortys were Rainbow Shirt, Psychokinesis, Cronenberg, OTM, Mordosia, Big Tongue, Headism, and Ace. There's a lot of options, but they all worked well. Back then, base stats are all that really mattered due to speed buffs / debuffs being broken. You couldn't debuff a Morty's speed or buff your own, so if you were just naturally faster, you'd stay that way. OTM was a big part of this meta because its base stats are just so naturally high. 115 in every stat, making him a beast with his base stats. Rainbow Shirt is also used due to his base stats being a flat 95, being very high for back in the day. He usually wasn't used due to how hard he was to make, needing several thousand beam shirts to craft. He was viable, but more of a flex than anything. Most other metas either had a really high base speed or just powerful moves. Multiplayer dropped with 178 Mortys. I just brought up most of the metas from that. However, a few updates later, Mortox was added. He is number 198, and he is the first rock that surpassed OTM. Mortox had all stats except speed being 102. Speed was 125. Mortox has several paralyzing moves, speed buffs and debuffs which didn't work, powerful moves, and an overall very stacked moveset. Powerful base sets would explain why OTM fell from grace. The other metas were Box, Seal, and Pancake. They all improved upon the previous meta by either being faster or just having way better moves. Pancake is another rock that surpasses OTM. Pancake has Golden Touch, that being the main move you'd want for OTM, and Pancake also has Juice, which is considered to be the most overpowered regeneration move in the game because it's typed and widely spread. There's a lot of weird mechanics with regens. The meta that follows that just rubs salt into the wound. Snowman and Gangster Cop get added. Snowman also gets Golden Touch, just making OTM even more worthless. Why spend time evolving him when you can just find a Snowman or Pancake? Gradually, the next meta slowly rolled out, that meta being Funny, Pale, Forbidden, Xmas Future, and Trover. We've all heard about these Mortys. Funny is just a fast blitz paper with strong paper moves and high base speed. Pale being a paid Morty with really high base stats and 130 base speed, being the fastest Morty in the game. Xmas Future also just has insane base stats, the highest base attack in the game. Trover is like the previous ones by just being completely broken. Trover has 135 defense and really high stats. His lowest stat is 80, that's speed. Trover also has the best rock move in the game, surpassing Golden Touch. Trover has the move Fan Art, which is a paper move that poisons, which makes Trover even better because he's a rock with a paper move. He also has Exfoliate, which is a bit RNG but it buffs attack, defense, and speed, which is really helpful in PvP. Trover is still used today for off-meta, power leveling, and raiding. You can see with this meta how far OTM is now, how useless he is, and how almost every meta, even Scissors, can defeat him. Due to how lackluster next updates are, only adding a few Mortys at a time, I'm skipping straight to the next major Morty update. The metas that were added are Ventriloquist, Dragon Rider, Fan Dancer, Cupid, Dragon, Liberty, and Wasp. Most of these Mortys were either equal in usefulness or have surpassed the previous types. The biggest standout was Dragon. Having a move that basically debuffs every stat or buffs their own was OP, along with that regen being typed. There's always stronger regens out there, but this just makes Dragon even better. The strongest ability for both Dragon and Dragon Rider is Dragon Call. It's a medium 100% accuracy attack and defense debuff. This move combined with regens lets you basically regenerate your entire HP bar. Liberty is also pretty good, but his strongest move is a weaker Mach that comes with a Paralyze. With decent rock moves, however, the next update completely changed the meta. August 16th, 2020, update 2.18.0, fixed speed buffs and debuffs. Mortys without speed buffs got heavily outclassed by Mortys who can. Ventriloquist and Fan Dancer got buffed because of this. The most OP move is Mach. Mach is a medium debuff to attack, defense, and speed. Each debuff has 100% accuracy to hit. Using Mach once will make your Morty faster than the opponent. The other Morty hasn't buffed their speed yet. Many people quit after this because they spent years building meta teams, but this update completely dismantled those teams. This made OTM further worthless. Many people also quit because they were told speed would never be fixed, but then got fixed. So people just kind of got angry and quit because the devs lied to them. We are one meta away from our current meta. New Mortys that got added was Supernova, Season 4, Mountain Guide, Queen, and Toxic Metal. A lot of these Mortys are from when Season 5 Mortys were being added. Season 4 is the scissors that remains in our current meta to this day. He is so powerful due to his moves. His base stats are mid, but his moves are where it's at. All moves have these huge debuffs or self-buffs, which make defeating him hard. Queen is semi-similar to Season 4 due to being able to spam debuff, but not as heavily as Season 4. Princess is usually used for PvP because she has higher speed than Queen, and Queen's final move isn't really needed for PvP. Toxic is a reliable opener due to being able to do a reliable poison and powerful rock move, though he poisons himself, so he's not great. Now we arrive at our current meta, Season 4, Cubism, and Gotron. Gotron being the best rock in the game. Other meta viable Mortys being Jetpack, Evil, and Primate. Gotron being one of the best rock mains for raids, and the best PvP rock in the game. The best rock raider being Pissmaster, who introduced the damage multiplier buff, and surpassed Gotron in damage. So even some Mortys in the current landscape are getting outclassed. Gotron has far surpassed what OTM could ever been. Many rock Mortys have far surpassed OTM as well, like Squid, Dragon, Helmet, Pissmaster, Jetpack, and so many more. Queen and Princess aren't as good as Fan Dancer or Glockenspiel, but they're usable. Fan Dancer's main power comes from Mach. They have a really powerful paper move as well, but the move that really makes Fan Dancer viable is Mach. They also have a strong speed buff, which really just further adds to Fan Dancer's power. Glockenspiel has Impersonate, which is a more RNG reliant Mach. He has every stat debuffed except Evade, and buffs all their stats. It's all weak debuffs, buffs, but it's amazing for PvP. OTM and Egg have long since lost any value. The only value OTM and Egg have anymore comes from their difficulty to make. This is the same for Rainbow Shirt, but we won't be getting into that. Let's talk about some fun off-metas that really put OTM to shame. Flannel is one. Flannel is a common that comes with Mach and a boot. Basically your budget Season 4. It would demolish OTM, even though Flannel is a common that almost everyone has caught. Another one that is deceptively good is Holodeck. He has a strong attack, defense, and speed buff move, each 70% accuracy, so it's pretty reliable. And that speed buff is very important. He has Body Tackle that can be used to debuff speed. He has a multi-attack move, which is just a very fun off-meta to use, which completely demolishes OTM. Two more fun off-metas are Badass Suit and Nargles. One of his moves, Stick Up, debuffs the enemy's attack and buffs your own. Badass Suit is decent for paralyzing your enemy, but there's reason why these guys are off meta. Gene is seen as the new Flannel. He has every debuff, a good poison and paralyzed move, mock, and naturally high speed. The biggest issue of Gene is he has no speed buff, only a move that debuffs his own speed. Even Unity and Frolf are viable options. Almost any new Morty is better than OTM. Now to move on to Season 7 Mortys, every Morty that has been added has far surpassed OTM, and they aren't even PvP worthy. Sailboat is a better Liberty for PvP, Squanchy is a walking tank with barely any speed. Every Morty has been experimented with new buffs, stat distributions, and everything. Season 7 has just shown how much every Morty just further outclasses OTM. No new metas were added, but they are all better than OTM in every way. I've hinted at this throughout the video, base stats aren't really all that important. The moves are what matter. Season 4 has very mid base stats, but his moves are just so overpowered that he's a meta regardless. Base stats do add to Morty's strength, but they don't make it. Gotron would still be OP even if his base speed was 30. His moves are just that damn good. Of course, Gotron's main use is from his speed and how quickly he can defeat Mortys, that being within 1 to 3 turns per Morty. Whenever looking at a Morty's strength, you always look at the moves first, and see how the base stats complement that. The most important base stat will always be speed, and this is one of the only base stats that can make or break a Morty. One of the recent additions to Pocket Mortys is the common Fear Hole. He spawns in Mortyland, and he has very shitty stats. However, his moves are so good. He has a few next attack buffs which multiply damage. He has a lot of rock moves and a superior impersonate. His base stats barely affect how OP this guy is. This is just to further illustrate how OTM fell from grace so quickly. With this game constantly trying to up itself, they ran into power creep, where they are constantly upping the average power of Morty. OTM is bad because they gave him the most lackluster moves. He has a neutral 120 power move, a rock move with 130 power, an attack and defense buff separate, and a weak neutral move. It's really no mystery why OTM got outclassed so quickly. OTM has no place in the current Pocket Mortys meta. He has been outclassed and made obsolete. He has no use nowadays except for flexing and being eye candy. OTM does have very high base stats, but with his lackluster moves, he serves no purpose. This was the fall of OTM. He used to be the best, but now he's considered to be part of the worst. OTM has lost all value and meaning in Pocket Mortys. He is just a nostalgic reminder of what Pocket Mortys used to be.